So, okay. So now these are the things. Yeah, these things we have seen in the yesterday's class. So I said about how to perform. Yeah, these are the crude operations, but you're not doing this. So on the database, but you're trying to do this on a list. So I said how to create a book. Okay. I said how to create a book and how to delete a book, and then how to update the book. So you are trying to receive the book details. Okay, you are trying to receive the book details, and then you need to search this book details within the list. Okay, you have to search this book details within the list. If the book details are there within the list, so what you do is you try to replace the value. Okay, book details are there in the list. You try to replace the values. If the book details are not there in the list, you'll say the book is not found, right? But what it is receiving an object of which type of book type. Okay, right? So what you do is you try to put this inside one dictionary. Okay, so this is update book or so so this is an updated book. So which is having ID, and where I'm saying book dot ID, and there is a title, and you are saying book dot title, and there is author. So there is an author. So here I'm writing book dot author. Okay, and this book you are searching within. So if you book inside or in you book in, or you can search it. You can search it by using a method called index. You can find the index of. So what is the name of the list is books. Here you are writing books dot index. You are finding the index of the value. So what is the value is here? U book. Suppose if the index, what is the index will be? So here index returns the first index of value, rises value error if the value is not present. Okay, so you can handle this by writing which one? Try block. So this error you can handle it by using try block, and this will return the index. Then you are trying to replace books of I equal to updated book. Means you are replacing value in the list. Then after that you are returning a message. What is the message you are returning is book updated. What is the message is book updated. Otherwise you handle the error and then return message saying that so invalid so invalid which one? Book number. invalid book details or book ID. But actually, you are not searching by using this complete book. So here problem is there because we need to search by using what book ID. You have to search by using what book ID. So this logic will not work, right? Yeah, you have to search by using book ID. Now this is updated book, and what you are trying to do is you are trying to read every time I in range of length of length of which one books. After that, you are reading each time one book. You are reading each time one book. Okay, so this is an existing book equal to books of I. Now here you're searching if updated book of ID, so double equal to okay existing book ID. Updated book ID equal to existing book ID. What do you have to do? Replace books of I equal to which book? Updated book. Then return the message saying that book updated, book updated. Okay. Else here after for loop we should say return message. What is the message is book not found, book not found. Okay. So this is called as which method here? Put method. So put is for what? Updating. So delete is for deleting and post is for creating and get is for reading. This is for reading details and this is for creating details and this is for deleting details and this is for what here? Updating the details. Okay. So after this, run the server. So go to the terminal here, run the server here. So you can see dot docs. So open Swagger UI. Now this is for testing it. So how many methods are there here? Get, post, delete, and one more is a put. So post is for what here? Creating book, and delete is for what? Deleting book, and put is for what here? Updating book. And this is for reading the details of one book. Okay. So if you want to create a book, just select the create and try out, and you try to input the details. Here I enter the book number, I mean book ID. So book name, I just enter the book name and I try to input what here? Author. After giving this, I just click on execute. So once you say execute, now you can see book is what? Created. So it is given message in the form of JSON or not? Yes. Okay. Then in the same way, if you want to read the details of book, now you can cancel this. You can use get method and try out and enter the book ID. What is the book ID is 3 and execute. Now you can see 3. Just now we added. And what is this details is Oracle, right? So you can modify the details. You can modify the details using which method? Put method. So try out and which book you want to update. I want to update 3 and I want to update. Okay. Oracle to what here? MySQL. Okay. I just give some name, some king. Okay. And just click on execute. Now you can see internal server. Just see it. So it is in single course. Where is the update put? So ID is a key, right? So you are trying to read the details using ID. So you are trying to execute again. Execute. Now you can see book not found. Which book is not there? Three is not there. Okay, right, no problem. So what you are trying to do is you are trying to update the book, but how you are trying to update the book is now just cancel this. So server is restarted. So we'll try to get the details. And what is this tryout three? Actually, three is not there. So book not found, right? Because server is restarted. So create a book here. Now three is there, right? So try out and execute. Now you can see book created. Now we'll try to update it by using a put method. So I'm trying to update. Now try out. I'm trying to update the title from Oracle to MySQL. Execute. You can see book is updated. Now come to the get here. So this is a get. Input the book ID and execute. Now you can see book details are what here? Updated. Right. So it means the client program can either read the details or create the details or delete the details or update the details. But it's trying to do all these operations by using some HTTP request methods. That is a get method, post method, delete method, and one more is what? Put method. Okay, now you can also develop a client program. So you can also develop a client program. So you can also develop one client program. You can also develop a client program. So client program is you can develop a client application where the client application call these endpoints. So run the server and test it. So run the server and test. So how you run the server? You run the server. Okay, run the server and test it. And how you test it within the browser, because these are browsable APIs, and you can test within the browser by using one interface called Swagger UI. Okay, that is a API testing tool like Postman. You can also use what Swagger UI for testing API, whether it is working properly or not. Okay. But at the same time, you can also write a client program. At the same time, you can also write which program? Client program. So client program is I'm writing one Python program. So I'm writing one Python program to read the details. Now yesterday we read the details. Okay. Okay. Yesterday we read the details. Okay. Now I want to read the details. How can I read the details of the book? So by using a method called which one? Get. And what is the URL is get book. So what is the endpoint is here? Get book. So get underscore book. I'll try to input the book ID. And what is the book ID I've given? One. Okay. So if I run this, now you will get the details of first book. See here. Now there is a details of which book here, first book. Okay, it means this is which application here, client application. It means your desktop application is communicating with which application, web application. Okay, but how your web application is returning information in which format? JSON. Okay, so one application communicate with another application, and one application exchange data with another application. But how one application exchange the data with another application in which format? JSON format. How it exchange the data in which format? JSON format. It will try to exchange the data in which format? JSON format. If you run this, now these are the details here, right? So now suppose you want to update it. You want to update it. Now see here. This is so get book. You can also input the book details during runtime. You can also input the book details during runtime. You can enter. Okay, so that is book ID, integer of, or you can input book ID input. So you want to get the details of which book ID. You will try to input that book ID and you try to concatenate that book ID with what URL. You are trying to concatenate that book ID with what URL. And here I'm calling a function called getBook. Now client want to get the book details. Client want to get whose details, book details. Now this is which program? Python program. But that is a web API or not? Yes. It means Python program is communicating with the web. So enter the book ID 1. So this get the book details 1. If I enter 2, this get the book details 2. If I enter 3, is it this 3 is there? Yes. If I enter this and if I enter 4, I can see there is an error. So that is saying that book not what. Suppose you want to create a book. Now you want to create a book. I'm writing a create a book. Create a book. So in create a book, you have to input the book ID. So you are trying to input. So integer of input. So what you are trying to input? Book ID. So which book you want to create it? Then you are trying to input the book name. Sorry, title. You are trying to input the title. So where I'm saying input. Sorry, input the title. So title of the book. And third one is you are trying to input what here? Author. You are trying to input the author. And after giving this, you are trying to put this inside one dictionary. And what this dictionary is having? Book ID. So this dictionary is having a book ID. So you are trying to send what here? Book ID. And second one is a title. And this is called as a title. And third one is what here? Author. And this is called which one? Author. Now here you have to define the request header. You have to define the request header. You have to change the request header as what types here. Now if you see the swagger here, now in post method, if you see post method, what is the request header? Okay, so in request header, you have to define the content type. And what is the content type is application and what? JSON. And accept also it accept which one? Application and what? JSON. You have to change this. Now you have to put this as a part of which one? Headers. Okay, you have to define this as a part of headers. So you have to define the content type. So create an header. Create what here? Header, header, headers or header. See, request is having headers. So this is a request. Okay, what is the name of the object is request object. And here in request object, you can define what here? Header. So request header content type. And what is the content type? Application slash what here? JSON. Okay, request dot headers. Okay, request dot headers. You try to define the header. Okay, so you want to send the data in which yes. So request dot get or post. You define the headers. You assign the header. So what is the header name is content type, and this is what you are trying to do it. Okay, and request dot which format it is JSON format. So whenever you are sending a request by using which method, post method, so compulsory you have to define the request headers, and you are trying to define this request headers by using header. So here I'm defining the header, and what is the name of the header is content type. What is the name of the header is content type. So content type is a header, and type is what here application slash JSON. Application slash what is it? JSON. Okay. Then after that you are saying response equal to response equal to request dot. What is the name of the method is post. Post. You are saying post, and what is that URL? You have to define the endpoint. So what is an endpoint here? So this is an endpoint. So what is an endpoint is? The endpoint is now post method is there, no? So what is an endpoint here? So create a book. What is the endpoint is? Create a book. So create underscore what is that book. So this you can call it as what here? Endpoint. So create a book is a endpoint. Okay. So request dot post. Then you are defining base URL plus what is that endpoint. Comma, you are sending a data in which format? JSON book, and you need to define the headers. Now headers equal to which one? Header. So what is a header you are defining? Content type. Means you are sending the content in which format? JSON format. And here you print. What do you print here? Response. Okay. Now whenever you want to create a book, see this is a client application. Okay. So whenever you want to create a book, you call a function called create a book. If you run this, now input the book ID, input the book title, input the book author. Okay, book author. Okay, so I just enter the book author. Now what is the response status is 200. Means is it book is created or not? Yes. If you want, you can display this day response.json. Run the code. Now enter the book ID 5 and book name is C. Okay. So author is this. Now you can see book is what here created. If you want to get this book details, then what do you do it? Get book, run the code and give the book number. What is that? 5. Now you can see this book details are get or not. Yes. But this is which application here? Client application. So client is using services. Which services they are using? Web services. What is the name of this web service? Create book. What is the name of this the web service is get book. So these are web services. What you are using web services. One is a get book and one more is what? Create book. So these are web services you are using. मेरे को भी दिखाओ यार. हेलो, मेरे को भी दिखाओ. मैं भी देखूंगा यार. हाँ, author name. Which author name? C++. ऐसे दे दिया यार. Okay, now you can create number of endpoints, but here I created only two. I developed two functions. Same thing. See, this is very important because suppose you are working with AI, how you use AI call AI services. So OpenAI provides some APIs. Okay. So they provide API like this. This is endpoint. This is endpoint. So all these endpoints they develop it, and these endpoints are given to the client. So client uses these endpoints. You want to generate, you want to create a chatbot where you want to chat with models. Then how can you send a prompt to model? So OpenAI provide what? Models, and those models will provide so many APIs, API calls. Those are nothing but endpoints. You call those endpoints, and those endpoints will receive the request and process it and generate what response. But here we are developing endpoints, but there you find existing endpoints. Now this is which application? Client application. It means you can test it. You can test it by writing, I mean, by using Swagger UI, or you can test it by writing which application? Client application. You can test it by writing one client. This is which application? Client application. Client application also you can use it. Means write any program, Java program or Python program or C program or C++ program, and then you can perform all the operations. Okay, right? Then how to perform operations on the database? But here we do all these operations on which one? List. But I want to perform operations on what? Database. Database means you can communicate with a fast API. Fast API allows you to communicate with the database with ORM and without ORM. Yes or no? With ORM and without ORM. But Fast API doesn't have any built-in ORM. Fast API doesn't have any built-in ORM. If it is not having any built-in ORM, then which ORM is used? SQL Alchemy. So Django is having built-in ORM. That is Django ORM is there. But Flask is not having inbuilt ORM, and Fast API also doesn't have built-in ORM. See, Flask is for developing web applications as well as APIs. Django is used for developing web applications and APIs, but Fast API is used only for developing APIs, not for web applications. You don't develop web applications by using what? Fast API. It is used only for developing what? APIs. Nothing on not, right? So you are providing or you are developing API. Suppose I want to perform I want to perform operations on a database. Okay, I want to perform operations on what? Database. Database. Then how can I perform operations on a database? Okay, now we have learned till now using ORM. Now let me tell you one application without ORM. Without ORM, right? So till now in Django we worked with ORM, and in Flask also we worked with what? ORM. Now we'll just work without using ORM. Without using ORM means with statements, raw SQL statements. Okay, raw SQL statements means you write an SQL statements. I'm deleting all this. Okay. So let me take same example book only, but this time, okay, book only, but this time where you are storing this book details? Database. So what I'm using is I'm using from now which one? MySQL. So MySQL from our import MySQL dot. So what do you require MySQL connector or not? Yes. Install is already there. If it is there, no problem. Otherwise, pip install. What do you install? MySQL. MySQL what? Connector Python. Pip install MySQL connector Python. So this is already there. This is already there. So what will I do is, so it is already there. So import, what is this MySQL dot, import MySQL dot connector as a MySQL, right? So what is the first step is, see, you are using directly which one? MySQL connector. Yes, you already learn in Python. So like how to communicate with various databases. Okay. So MySQL dot connector, and what is the alias name I've given? MySQL, right? Okay, no problem. We'll just run this. We'll just see this Python API dot py, right? No problem. So first thing is we create a database. Go to MySQL command line or navigator, anything you can use. Okay. So first thing is create a database. Create a database name. So some DB1 or DB10. So create one database. What is my database is DB10. And within this, you have to create table because we are not using ORM, right? If it is ORM, you can automatically create what? Table. For every model, it will create one table. But here I am not using any ORM. Then I have to create a table or not? Yes. I am creating a table called book. And what book is having ID? And this ID is what here? Integer. So this create a table book ID is what here? Integer with the size is 4. Then I'm trying to define this as a primary key, right? Then next one is creator. Yeah, you can get all the books also. A list all. So create a table. Table name is a book and ID. ID is an integer and I'm saying primary key. Okay, the next one is a book name that is nothing but title. So which is nothing but varchar some 20. And next one is a author which is again varchar 20. Now you can see table is what created. So first step is you create one table. So where you create this table in database, MySQL. So create database and then create a table. So this is communicating with. So this is communicating with what here? Database. Communicating with the database. First to do this. Okay. And then develop an application. Now what do you do it? Establish connection. What is the first step is? Establish connection. MySQL dot connector dot connect. What is the name of the method is? Connect. The name of the method is what? Connect. Okay. Name of the method is connect. And here you define the database name. What is your database name is DB10. What is a database username is root. So what is your database password is root. So where your database is running local host, define the local host. And what is the port number of your database? 3306. Then create a cursor, connection dot cursor. Because you try to execute all the SQL statements using which one? Cursor. You try to execute all the SQL statements using cursor, right? Now, first thing is you create application. Application equal to which application? Fast API application. Then here I'm writing application dot post. Post is for creating. Now create a book. Now what is the URL is? Create a book. Create a book is a URL. Okay. But what is the name of the view is create a book. Endpoint name is same. Create a book, but this receive book. But this book is which type? Book type. Now serialization and deserialization is taken care by yes model and fast API. You don't require to think about that. Okay. So after this, what we have to do now? Create a book is nothing but inserting or not. Yes, inserting. Now within a try block, I prepare one SQL statement. And what is that SQL statement? Insert into what is the name of the table book? Are using ORM? No. You are writing which statement? Raw SQL statements. ORM is you are communicating with the database using object oriented programming. But here you are not doing it. You are directly communicating using SQL statements. Because till now we worked. So I want to tell you one application without using ORM, right? So insert into book and values. What are the values are percentage s, percentage s, parameters are not. Yes, percentage s. Then after that cursor dot execute. What you are executing SQL statement with values. So these are nothing but which one? Parameters. And define the parameters. Book dot what is that? ID and book dot name and book dot what? Title and book dot author. Now these values get replaced or not? Yes. Then after that, you are saying connection dot what is this? Commit. Then return message. What is the message you are returning? Okay, book what here? Create. Okay, accept the block. When it raises error or it raises error or not? Yes, if the book is already exists. Because book ID is a primary key or not? Yes. Then here I am saying return. Okay, return. What is the message is? What is the message is? Okay, book ID is what exists. Book ID is exists. Now here I written here. Okay, because return means it terminates, right? Here I'll write, and this is a dictionary. So this is a dictionary here, right? Okay. So return, commit the changes, and then you are displaying a message saying that book is what? Created. Now this is called which method? Post method. This is creating book. Run the code. So run the application. Now, so it's run the application. You can also write a client program. Okay. But now you are testing it from where? Browser. Now you are testing from the browser. Now here I just run the request. Okay. So open Swagger UI by just giving docs. Now here you have one method. Which method? Post method. Now here you input the book details. Okay, try it and enter the book ID. One book name. What is the book name is? Some Python. So book author. Let's give right. Okay, click on what here. Execute. You can see book is what here created. You can go to the backend and verify is it book is inserted or not. So select a star from what here book. You can see one book is created or not. Yes. Ring on it. So now this is a API. Now whenever client want to create a book, whenever client application want to create a book, what is the endpoint it uses? Which endpoint it uses? Create book. Which endpoint it uses? Create. Now simple this is. Ring on it. So this, but this is database dependent or independent? Dependent. So because whenever there is a changes in database, I have to do changes in what database configuration. And even if any syntax changes are there in SQL statement, you have to do syntax changes in what SQL statements. All this you have to do it. All this you have to do it. SQL statements, syntaxes, everything. The changes has to be done. Okay. So that is a create a book. Now you can create. So even you can write a Python program to create a book. Sir, no, same. Client application, you have to write it by sending the details. Okay. Now you want to create another book. So just enter the book ID and book name. So book name and there is an author and click on execute. Now again, book is what? Created. So now you can see how many books are created. Two books. You can see two books are what here created, right? Suppose I want to get all the book details. I want to get all the book details. Application dot get. So here I'm writing a URL or endpoint. And what is the endpoint is get books. So are you getting one book details or all book details? All. All book details. Now what is the name of this is get books. Okay, what is the name of this is get books. So get books is a method. And here we should retrieve all the data. Okay, we should retrieve all the details, right? We should retrieve all the data. Getting or not? From where you retrieve all the details? You retrieve all the data from database. But how you retrieve it? Query set equal to select, sorry, cursor dot which one? Execute. Select select star from book. Now this will return the query set or not? Yes, this will return the query set. You should read the data from the query set and you should put inside the dictionary and you add that dictionary into a list and send it. Getting on. So here I'm creating one list and what is that list? Books. So for book in what is a query set? Here I'm writing books.append. Books.append. So you are trying to append. What you are trying to append a dictionary which contain the book ID. So book.id. So query set, right? Yeah, book dot id, comma, second one is what, title, and there is a book dot title, and what is the third one is author, and here I'm writing book dot which one, author. So but where you are trying to append all these book details in one list, and then return what you written here, books. But books is of which type list? Okay, but it convert this list into which format? JSON. Okay, now come to this and refresh. Now you have a two methods. One is get method also there, no parameters. Try out, execute. Now when you see this internal error, query setup, no. What it returns, right? What it return? List. It return list only. Yes or no? Array. Rows. What it return? It return list only. किधर है यार अपन? हाँ? ORM को गए तो ये भूल गए. हाँ? It return rows only, right? What execute method returns? Rows. All the rows it returns. Okay. So refresh this. Get method, try out, execute. So it is written null. So because there is a list, right? This is a list, but this list contain, a rows is a list. This list contain what? Tuples. This list contain what? Tuples. Yes or no? What this list contain? Tuples. Okay. So this list contain what here? Tuples. Each book is one tuple or not? Yes. Each row, each row is one tuple. That is nothing but each book. So books dot append. What do you need to do? Book of. What is this here? Zero. Because each row is one tuple or not? Yes. Book of one, and this is book of, or a book of what? Two. Then return the list. So what is the list is? Books, right? Okay. Then why internal error? Rows. None type. No rows, huh? Rows are there or not there? You have to test it here. So get book, try out, execute. Now see at the back end. Cursor dot execute. Maybe somewhere we are doing a mistake. Runtime means it's not retrieve the data. For book in rows. Books are there, right? So we'll try to get one book. Otherwise, this is correct only. So why is giving none type? So no problem. Yeah. But this is how you are trying to communicate with what your database. So how you are communicating is simply you try to write some raw SQL statements. Like whenever you want to insert it, you are just inserting it by sending which command, insert command. Ah, what here? What mistake is there? Tell me. Tell me here. What is a mistake? Bolo, bolo here. What is a mistake? Huh? Bolo here. Huh? What is a method? Fetch all. Where is the result of executed query in the cursor? And then you are using one method called fetch all. Cursor से fetch करना ना, then you will get the rows. So ओ भूल गए, ये ORM सीख के, so raw SQL statements you forgot, right or not? Okay, so use these docs and use the get and try it, execute. You can see how many book details are there? Two. Okay, right? So because where is the result of executed query in the cursor? And from cursor, you have to fetch all the rows. So how you fetch all the rows? By using a method called fetch all. Okay, so that will get all the book details. Now you want to update it. Now this is which method? Get method. This is post. Now you want to update it. So how can you update it? By using which method? Put method. And this is the endpoint or URL. And what is the endpoint is update book. The endpoint is what here update book, and receive this will receive which details, book details. It receive the book, and what this book contain, ID, title, author, right? So then what you have to do? You have to update. How you update it? By using a command called update. Okay, how you update? Using update. So this is my SQL statement. What is a SQL statement is update Update book set title equal to percentages, comma author equal to percentages. Means you are modifying only title as well as what? Author, and where ID equal to percentage S. This is my SQL statement, and cursor dot execute. What you are executing? SQL statement with the parameters. Okay, parameters. What is the first parameter is title. What is the first parameter is title. So that is nothing but book dot title. What is the second parameter is book dot author. What is the third parameter is book dot ID. Okay, so where ID equal to given ID. Okay, so but what is the update method returns count, a row count. Okay, some k equal to cursor dot row count. If cursor dot row count, if the count is greater than what? 0, you'll say return. What is the message is book updated. What is the message I'm displaying? Book updated. Otherwise, you'll say return. What is the message you return? Invalid book ID. Invalid book ID. So this is which method here? Update method. So this is an update. Now you can see one more method is added called put. So which book you want to update? Now I want to update the book whose book ID is 1. I want to change okay. So D Django, and then I want to give some author, right? And after that click on execute. Now you can see book is what here? Updated. You can see in the backend, is it updated or not? No, not updated. Why? You have to commit what? Changes. Connection dot what is it? Commit. So after updating, you have to save changes. Okay, you have to save changes, right? So I'll try to execute again. Execute. So you can see book is updated. See in the backend. I can see the book is what here? Updated. If you want to get all the book details, go to get and here try out and execute. I can see all the book details. If you want to delete a book, now you have to see all these are endpoints. All these are endpoints which are used by client application. What is the name of this method is delete book. So what is the name of this endpoint is delete book, but you are sending what you are sending now? ID. You are sending an ID of which type? Integer. You are sending an ID of which type? Integer type. Okay, right? Now this is delete book and it receive an ID of which type? Int. So what is this colon int is a hint. This is a type hint is used for verifying the type. It is a type hint which is used for verifying what type. So ID is which type? Integer, right? So write an SQL statement, and what is my SQL statement? So delete from book where ID equal to percentage S. Okay, then you're trying to execute cursor dot execute SQL statement with parameters. And what is the parameter is ID, because it receive path parameter or not? Yes. What is the name of the parameter is ID. Okay, get the count cursor dot row count. If the count is greater than 0, then you'll say connection dot commit and then return one message. What is the message you are returning? Book is what? Deleted. Book deleted. Otherwise, return a message. What is the message you are returning? Invalid book ID. Okay, right? Now, which book you want to delete it? Now, come to the Swagger UI, and here some refresh you do it. Now, where is the method? Docs. So you have a method called delete. Now you want to delete a book. So just enter the book ID one, execute. Now you can see book is what here? Deleted. So just go to the backend and see there is only one book is there. But I'll try to give again one execute. I can see the message. What is the message is invalid book ID. Getting on. So it is without using or use any ORM or directly communicating directly. Directly you are communicating using with statements, SQL statements. Now that depends on your application requirement. You can use ORM. Without ORM also you can communicate by writing which SQL statements, raw SQL statements. Okay. So this is API and you have to test it. Test it by executing the application. You can also write a client program. You can also write a client program means you can write one Python program and where you can test this API endpoints by sending what here data. You can test these endpoints. So run the server. You're just executing the server. How many ways I said different ways are there, but this is one way of running which one here server, right? So I think you understood this how to develop APIs using faster API, right? So that's all. This is what I want to tell you about this Flask and what fast API, right? So I hope you understood, right? Okay. And then next is I'll try to give you some projects, huh? Okay, projects and try to develop it. I'll give you only abstracts. I don't give you the project code. Project code if I give, what is the use? No use, right? You want project code also or only abstracts? Only abstracts. I'll give you only abstracts. You develop a code. Okay, you develop a code and try to develop it. Try to develop it in both. Both means you develop a web application and you also develop APIs. It means you means your application can be used from browser. What I meant to tell you is your application can use from browser means if you take HDFC Bank.com. This is which application? Web. So web means you have a UI and everything. But you have an HDFC Bank mobile app. Mobile app is there. No, that mobile app also uses the services or not? Yes. So for that you have to develop what? APIs. You have to develop what? APIs. So whenever you develop application, you build two. One is APIs, you build it and you develop web application and you develop web APIs. So only the difference is web application generate the output in which format? HTML. But APIs generate the output in JSON. Because JSON is a format which understand by any programming language. It means it is application independent as well as what? Language independent. Okay, right? Yes. So that is my suggestion and try to put more projects you do it with some new ideas. So don't create with some existing old projects, legacy projects. You don't develop it. Try to develop with some new ideas. Okay, right? Now, suppose you want your Django should communicate with the AI chatbot. You want it. You want a chatbot. Then what do you do it? What do you do it? Now you call API services provided by whom? So there are so many providers are there or not? Yes. So Google is having, Meta is having, okay, and even what do you call it as OpenAI provides so many services. You can call those API services. Okay, right? So try to implement AI features also nowadays. Every application is include which features? AI features. Ring or not. It means I'm not telling you to. Uh, I'm not telling you to implement a chatbot. Okay, chatbot means there is a generic chatbot is there. Now chat GPT is what? Generic chatbot means whatever you give, it will give you the response, right? But there is a application specific chatbots will be there. For example, HDFC Bank is there. You have a chatbot that give you information about only HDFC Bank only. It means you have to provide some information to the, you have to provide information to what? Chatbot. Which information? HDFC Bank information. I should provide which information? HDFC Bank information. Okay, that is where the generative AI frameworks comes into the picture. You'll try to use different frameworks that will analyze which data, application specific data, and generate some new text. Okay, right? So that might you try to learn and implement it otherwise, right? So that's all. Now I'm concluding, and if you want me to tell you how to upload in a Git, so already I said how to execute in your cloud environment, where I said Python anywhere. Python anywhere I said directly, developing directly in Python anywhere I said, but instead of developing directly in Python anywhere, but Python anywhere it support limited resources because of free. If it is not a free, you can have a MySQL database. You can have different databases if it is not a free. But if it is a free, you can use only SQLite database. So the way how you are developing a Django, in the same way you can develop Flask. Okay, right? There it will show you whether you want to develop a Django application or whether you want to develop which application plus cloud environment. Yes or no? That is in which environment? Cloud. But you have to create a repository in Git and you have to put a link so that the people can see what is the code you have written. Understood? So compulsory you have to upload your code, push your code into what? Git. So maybe you have a classes of Git, GitHub. Tools are there, no? So where they'll teach you how to work with the Git and GitHub. Okay. So I don't want to tell you that, but you learn how to push your project into what? Git. Yes. Anything you want to ask? Because today I want to conclude because almost lot of